So the ink is nice and dry now, so we're ready to move on. I've changed my water, so my water was really black from the ink, so I have nice fresh water for the gouache, and I have 3 tubes of gouache here. The primaries that are sort of neutralized primaries. We've got the yellow ochre, the Prussian blue, and the burnt sienna, and we're going to use those together, mixed together, to create an underlayer for pastel. But before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about color. So I do have a white piece of paper on the back of my palette paper cover. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pastels and just create a little color wheel so that I can use it as a way at looking at color relationships. So I've drawn out 12 basic colors here. I have the primaries done in circles, secondary colors done in squares, and then the tertiary or the intermediate colors are done with triangles. They all have 2 names. So we'll have to do a little bit of mixing to get all 12 colors in, but this will give us a chance to look at color relationships. I'll put my primaries in first. And you can do this with any piece of paper at home, but this one was convenient. So I've got my primary colors in here, and now I'm going to put my secondaries in. So I'm going to do green, violet, and my orange is kind of yellow-orange, so I'll add a little bit of red to that. We can probably use this for yellow-orange as well. So we'll add a little bit of red to that. So it gets orange. I can do red-orange, so we'll do red first. A little bit of this, yellow-orange. And for red-violet, we'll start with red and put a little violet in. So these 12 colors, we can pretty much divide any color, take any color out of nature and put it into one of these 12 colors. So that's why we're doing this. It really helps us to kind of look at what color we want and what color we want to end up with. One of the things that we're going to play with a little bit today is doing an underpainting in gouache. So this is kind of a base layer. Put pastel over it with a contrasting color. But it's hard to do that until you understand what color it is you're working with and where it falls. So a blue-green here, I have a color that's pretty much blue-green out of the box here. And I have yellow-green. And then in the middle I have an N, a big N for neutral. And if these colors kind of got mixed together, if opposite colors mixed together, usually we end up with kind of a grayish color or a brownish color. So I'll put in this neutral, maybe a little bit of this neutral. So if we mix opposite colors, what happens is they come together and they cancel out each other's intensities. So if we had 2 pastels, and this is kind of the point here, that are opposite in color, let's take a red and a green. Let's say I put down some strokes of green, I try to put red over it. What's going to happen is those colors are going to mix together, the powder is going to mix together, and I'm going to end up with a neutral. Maybe I don't want that. So what I want to do is I want to come in with a medium that's going to dry and not mix with a pastel, and that's where the gouache comes in handy. So if I put the red down, as I mentioned first, and put a green pastel over it, they're not going to mix. They're not going to. There's no red powder to mix with a green powder, and I don't have to worry about canceling out each other's intensities. So that's kind of the point here. So we can take our color wheel and we kind of look at our reference up here, okay? And we can see that all of these colors are going to fall somewhere into the color wheel. Let's take that color right there. So that's maybe kind of a blue-violet color, fits right into here. This color over here fits into the yellow-green section. So as we're starting to look at these colors, we want to think about, I'd like to have some contrast and put a color in my painting with gouache that's going to contrast the pastel that's coming along later. So I'll take this off so we can have this separate. from our gouache.